Hello, how's everybody doing? So, we last left off discussing Emmanuel, the Son. Now, real quick, Isaiah chapter 7 and seven and 7. Thus saith the Lord God, it shall not stand, neither shall it come to pass, for the head of Syria is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is Rezin. And within 65 years shall Ephraim be broken, that it be not a people. And the head of Ephraim is Samaria, and the head of Samaria is Ramallah's son, that's Pekah. If ye will not believe, surely ye shall not be established. And I told you, I'm going to explain to you what it means, the establishment, right? Now, each time Pekah is brought up, he's brought up as Ramallah's son. He's very rarely brought up as Pekah himself, as if his father is more respectable than he is. So, let us find the truth. I just used some clips that he showed in his last video. Let us find the truth showed us in Hosea chapter 8 and 4. They have set up kings, but not by me. They have made princes, and I knew it not. Of their silver and their gold have they made them idols, that they may be cut off. Who did this? Who made themselves kings over Israel? And it states, in chapter 2, it says, Israel shall cry unto me. So it is Israel. Israel has cast off the thing that is good, and that's the Most High, the Creator. Alright, so 8 and 4, it says, Shalom. See, we always go Shalom or Shalom, however you pronounce this. You just get a reference Bible, and it has it there. It says Menahem, and these are kings. These are men that made themselves kings. They weren't told to be kings. No prophet went to them and said, the Lord said, you shall be king of Israel. These men made themselves kings. This is a great sin. And Pekah. Now, I've been sitting there thinking, who in the hell is Pekah? And it's been right in front of me the whole time. Pekah, the king of Ephraim, the house of Israel, the king of Israel, made himself king. And because he was not chosen, that's why he was rotten in the heart to make deals with Samaria. And this is why the Most High had the Assyrians come in and take us. Now, as I've shown you, Emmanuel is the sign. It is not until we get to the writings of Solomon that are not in the Bible. What is it? The Testament of Solomon, where he claims he's questioning the demons. Do we get the name Emmanuel? Now in Isaiah here it says Emmanuel. Now, what is the establishment? Now, 1 second. When we go to, if ye will not believe, surely you will not be established. There is a 7 there. So that is Isaiah chapter 7 verse 9. There is a precept and a 7. So It says, Chronicles chapter 2, 20 and 20. Or, this is the definition, or, do ye not believe? It is because ye are not stable. Okay, so, let me go to 2 Chronicles, and let's see what it says in 2 Chronicles. 20 and 20. I passed it. So, Chronicles 20. And they rose early in the morning and went forth into the wilderness of Tekoa. And they went forth. Jehoshaphat stood and said, Hear me, O Judah, and the inhabitants of the Jerusalem, believe in the Lord your God, so shall ye be established. Believe in his prophets, so shall ye prosper. You understand that? If you are not prospering from the Lord's word, then you are unstable. And I told you, you can't make money off this. You have to spiritually prosper. So I'm going to show you what this establishment is. Now he said, oh man. Oh, Jeremiah. No. He said, in Jeremiah 50, it states, in those days, 50 and 4, in those days and in that time the Lord, saith the Lord, the children of Israel shall come, they and their children of Judah together, going and weeping, they shall go and seek the Lord their God. They shall ask the way to Zion. How is it in the past they knew where Zion was, and today we don't know where Zion is? Is this statement a past, present, or future? We are, as a people, unstable. So this is us saying, we need stability. We need a nation. Let us find Zion, what has been promised to us. So this isn't in the past, because again, in the past they knew where Zion was. Now, today we know where Zion Park is, right? So, they shall ask the way, so this is Jeremiah 50 and 5. They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, Come, let us join ourselves unto the Lord in a perpetual covenant. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The first covenant's already been made, right? So this is when the second covenant comes. When we start to ask ourselves, why can't we go make a covenant with the Lord? And then we start to remove ourselves, right? Come, let us join ourselves to the Lord in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. But what about Jesus, everybody? What about Jesus? What does it say? My people have been lost sheep, thinking that Jesus is the way, the only way. Their shepherds, preach Jesus, they have caused them to go to Jesus. They have turned them away from God on the mountains, the churches. They have gone from mountain to mountain. They've gone church to church, hillside to hillside, town to town. Like the Catholic and Christian missionaries that came over here prior to kill their fucking ancestors and then enslave the ones that were docile. Okay, I'll do it. have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. We forgot what Zion is. There's a 3 at resting place. What does it say? 6. Place to lie down in. Place to die in. Right? Tomb for my father. My father's father. Verse 7. All that they have, all that found them have devoured them. Every nation that found us just ate us a fucking alive. All our resources are tapped. Now, half of them don't want to fucking stay here because there's nothing for them to chew on anymore. They came like locusts, right? All that found them, each European nation, all that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, we offend not because they have sinned against the Lord. Right? Didn't we just cover this? The Lord said to do this to you. What did I say? My rebuttal to that is, when we were told by the Lord to do this to you, throughout history you've made us pay. So when it's time, you shall pay. Now I'm going to read this again. Jeremiah 50:7. All that found them have devoured them. And their adversaries said, we offend not, we offend the Lord not. We offend not because they have sinned against the Lord, the habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. So this is what the Lord says to you. Verse 8, remove out of the midst of Babylon. That doesn't mean your fucking mind, that means your ass. If I let off a fire extinguisher down here, I'm in the fucking midst of it. I have to leave to breathe freely. Every day there's a dew that comes up, right? Fog in areas. To get out of that dew, you have to go indoors, you have to remove yourself out of the midst of it, or you have to leave that area. There's a fog. How do you get away from a fog? Go indoors or leave the area. Indoors, you've got TV, radio, everything advertising to you. Computer, you've got your loved one telling you Jesus is the light, the way. What the hell is wrong with you? Because they won't read the stuff you will. They won't look at the stuff you will. You have to get out of this. Remove out of the midst of Babylon and go forth. That means move your fucking feet. Everybody that tells you that means mentally, they don't even understand what, like the string of words move forth. What? How can you let anybody tell you the small phrase move forth means mentally? We knew where Zion was coming out of Babylon. How can people say this is first Babylon? Even when those dumbasses say first Babylon, they just admitted that there's another Babylon. See, look, the Tower of Babylonia. Then the Amorites restart Babylon. Now we're in the daughter. Babylonia, one. Babylon, another. Daughter. See, they've been playing with your mind. I'll go back up. It says, my people hath been lost sheep. Their shepherds make mad cash off of them. I'm rich, bitch! They make the money off your mind, while the Assyrians make the money off your soil. While the Christians make money off your soul. You're being screwed at every angle and you don't see it. Cause you speak good about Jesus. That's bullshit. You know what? I'm gonna see you on Judgment Day. I'll be like, I told that nigga, he ain't wanna listen to me. Remove out of the midst of Babylon and go forth. out of the land of Chaldea. Go forth out of the land. How do you guys let people play with your brain? And be as he-goats before the flock. You know how goats work, right? They got those hooves to be able to climb mountains. Right? You're looking for Mount Zion, so he's telling you to go just leave through the mountains. That's what we're going to do. We're going to gather in Utah. We're going to clean up, and then we'll leave through the mountains. I ain't going to tell you if we're going above the mountains or we're going below the mountains. I mean, I'm just going to leave that up in the air. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be of a mighty expert man. Excuse me. Their arrows shall be of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. And Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied. And I believe that's that Hollywood. So let's go back to Isaiah. Because this has to deal with, if ye will not believe, surely ye shall not be established. Now remember, the first thing these cats said is, let us go and find the Lord. No. Give me 1 second. Okay. So they say, let us go and find the Lord. All right. So they are unstable as a people. They do not have a nation. All right. So now they done taught you through Roman war propaganda that the new covenant already came with Jesus. Right. Now it states in Jeremiah 31 and 31, behold, the days come, saith the Lord. So is that past, present, or future? Behold, the days come that I will make a new covenant. So right now, you should be thinking that's the past. Because they don't, no, really. No bullshit. I'm not trying to trick you. They done told you that was perfect. I had it right there too. They done told you that this dude done brought the new covenant, right? So right now, you should be thinking the new covenant, so that's in the past. Now I want you to follow along. You should have your Bible open, you should have a pen out, you should be marking this down. Okay? You should be highlighting this. Just like these other scriptures I done brought up. So when somebody said, have you read the Bible? No, but I've been shown specific passages that relate to this, and I can show you. So you don't think it's just one scripture. I'll show you a whole chapter that relates to this. So they don't try to make you look like you don't know what you're talking about. You know, because you won't take the time to read. Now listen. Jeremiah 31, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant. Okay, so that's Jesus, right? With the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. So right there, you should be like, whoa, wait. Jesus didn't make a new covenant with the house of anything. He never met the slaves. He never met with them. He told his disciples, I think I'm going to die. You guys go to the slaves, right? Now listen. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in that day. I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break. Although I was a husband unto them, saith the Lord. So he already says, make a new covenant. Here's the first covenant I made with your forefathers. And your forefathers, they broke the covenant. I'm going to make a new covenant with you. Now, this is what it says. 33. But this shall be a covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts and write in their hearts. And I will be their God, and they will be my people, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for they shall know me. Now that's not saying know Jesus. I don't think that time has come. See, everybody thinks the new covenant has to do with Jesus. And this isn't saying that. This says the new covenant has to do with the person that made the first covenant. And this says he's going to do it with a group, not a single guy or entity. So right there, that should kind of, the screw should be kind of turning both ways. Like, because everybody wants to tell you Jesus is written about in the Old Testament. But here, I'm reading about the Creator. It ain't once said, no, I'm sending you a son. It said, Ephraim, my son. It said, Jacob, my son. I don't see no Jesus here. I see house of David. I don't see no king over him later in time. I don't see no king over him right now. Why they keep telling you Jesus is your king and he ain't fucking here? If a king dies, then another king is risen, right? They done fucked your mind up. And you don't appreciate me saying it like that, all nasty. But what they did to you is nasty. And you sit down every fucking day like it's casual cool. And more of your fucking resources are what? Divided amongst the goddamn Caucasians. But I'm the devil. I'm the one this motherfucker wants to kill, right? For they shall all know me. Don't say no fucking Christ. I'm pretty sure it's still talking about the Creator. So they shall all know me, from the least of them to the greatest of them, saith the Lord. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. Now, isn't that the power Jesus says that he has? Well, wait. In 43:11 it says, I, even I, am the Lord, and beside me there is no Savior. So this isn't talking about Jesus. This is the same Lord that says there is no Savior besides me. He says, I'm going to save the people in the new covenant. That's not at Judgment Day. That's prior to Judgment Day. That's before Judgment Day. Alright, now, we got to remember this all stems from what is it to be established, right? Now it states, if ye will not believe in the Creator, surely you shall not be established. So, let's go back. Let's go forward. Let's go to Jeremiah again. Let's go to Jeremiah 23. This is the true king. Wait a second, I thought Jesus Christ was king. I thought King David was king. Here's the argument, right? It's one or the other. Now, the true king. Now, Jeremiah 23:5. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. Now let's start over. Behold, the days shall come. Now, you've been told Jesus Christ is your king, right? Here's through the bloodline of David and blah, 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 right? Did he reign? at all? Did he reign and did he prosper? Did he execute any judgments in the earth? Did he execute any criminals, or was this Christ executed as a criminal? Did he bring justice to the earth during his reign? Did he usher in heaven? No. No. None of that happened. And this hasn't happened yet. So the idea that Christ is our king is bullshit. I want to be in heaven. I don't care if I'm scrubbing bricks. I don't care if I'm scrubbing gold bricks all day. I get to sleep there at night. Not in fire. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. In his days Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name, whereby he shall be called the Lord our righteousness. Verse 7, therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. Okay? We're not going to be saying that anymore, because something more glorious is going to happen. Something greater is going to overshadow that. We will then be saying, verse 8, but the Lord liveth. Right? The Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries whither I had driven them. And they shall dwell in their own land. Our own nation. That's a Messiah. That is the Messiah that we're awaiting. See, a series of events happens. We step aside. The places we were get ruptured. We then leave when he tells us it's time. When we leave, we go and meet him. We sign the covenant. And he shows us our new land, which we then toil. As we toil and produce clean food, the nations need to eat. Their food's been poisoned by Monsanto. So they come to us with trade. As their lands start to crumble because they're not changing their ways, they'll ask us for help, and we send out judges. As they change their ways and mimic righteousness to become righteous, their lands stabilize. It's all written here. Now, when you complete a mission, you take a flare gun out and you go and a sign is in the sky for a little helicopter pilot to come on and pick you up, right? When you're waiting for the robber to have the jewels red-handed and you're out there on a stakeout, the commissioner says, hit the spotlights, and the floodlights come on and light up the whole dark area, and you can see the thief right there, red-handed. The spotlight was the sign for all the police force to go in and seize him. Now, in Isaiah, chapter 7. Now we're going to continue. If ye will not believe, surely ye shall not be established. Moreover, the Lord spake unto Ahaz, saying, Ask thee for a sign. Ask thee a sign of the Lord thy God. Ask it either in depth or in height. In depth, low, or in height, high. In depth, lowness. Ask the littlest thing to be a sign. Floodlights, spotlights, flare gun. I know these things weren't used back then. But just, right? The bat signal, right? Everybody knows what the bat signal. Batman, we need your help. Here's a sign. We don't have a, you know what I'm saying, right? Ask thee a sign of the Lord thy God. Ask it either in depth, right? Or depth, deep, or in height, great. But Ahaz, let's go to verse, no, that's fine here. But Ahaz will not ask, neither will, but Ahaz said, I will not ask, neither will I tempt the Lord. And he said, Hear ye now, O house of David, it is a small thing for you to weary men, but will it be, but will ye weary my God also? Now, you got to remember in, what is it, 2 Kings 15 or 16? 16. 16 verse 2. 20 years old was Ahaz when he began to reign, and reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, and did not that which was right in the sight of the Lord his God, like David. But he walked the way he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, and made his sons pass through the fire, according to the abominations of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out before the children of Israel. So you see, when he says, "Ask me a sign," you know, Ahaz's mind is like all over the place. You see, like in the next chapter. He goes down in the next chapter of Isaiah, refers back to 2 Kings, when he asks the Lord for help, and the Lord gives him Tiglath-Pileser of Assyria to take down Syria and Ephraim, and instead he starts worshiping Tiglath-Pileser instead of the Lord, and then he starts worshiping the God of Tiglath-Pileser. He said, copy the altar at Damascus. Now Damascus fell, so actually it should be a Syrian god. But you saw what he did with the gold of the palace. He gave the gold from the palace. He gave a shit ton of gold from the palace. He gave the Lord's gold to the Assyrian king. So, and I think the Lord wanted him to do that, because then with that kind of finance, he's able to build a fleet to like carry the 10 tribes away. You know, so. And we've already seen that it says, you know, the Assyrians are the hand of the Lord, you know, and we know that they're used to work against Israel because of the actions Israel did working against the Lord. And this is why he always says, you forgot who made you. I'll mess you up. I made you and I cursed you. And when you acknowledge the curses, they can be removed. When you come back to me, I can forgive you. But I have a task for you. You're not going to continue to dwell like you do in these cities. Now it says, is it a small thing for you to weary men, but will ye weary God also? So, therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Because the Lord asked you to make a sign, and you were like, so the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, they shall call his name Emmanuel. Now, this isn't very important. Now, we've been taught that it means, oh, Jesus Christ is coming to the world to save us. But that's not what it means at all. No. Millions of women give birth. Okay, millions of women give birth. How are we to know when this sign is born? Now, when we analyze things, we can kind of see connections of things, right? So, when I started to understand this a few years back, 2014, it wasn't until 2015 that I actually see the sign, all right? So I'm not going to tell you, oh, I've known this sign for years. No, I saw it 2 years late. I think it was. I'm going to say this. Whenever the kid was born, I saw it 2 years after the kid was born. I think he was born in 2013. But he might have been born in 2011. And so that, I might be confused. But when I saw it, that's when it hit me. That's what the sign is. Now I'm going to show you. Now I've showed you before in another video. And I've linked all this together before. A lot of people have seen it. Now, how long is this? It's 2 minutes long.
Legal ruling out of Tennessee is getting national attention today. A judge ordering the parents of a baby boy to change his name. They had named him Messiah. And the judge says, no, you want an M name? The child's name is going to be Martin, according to this judge. Have they gone so far as to, change a baby's name, and is that okay?
Oh, there's a video on YouTube. This is from Weird News, and this is what I've been trying to tell you. That when you're looking for prophecy-related news for a great deal, it's going to be on odd stations, because the people that control us do not want us to know when prophecy is activated. Alright, so let's watch this again.
At 7 months old, Jaleesa Martin's son is teething.
Yeah, still at the bottom.
He's ready to crawl, but his name is still up for debate.
I was shocked.
His birth certificate reads Messiah Deshaun Martin, but Jaleesa and the father could not agree on a last name, which is how they ended up at a child support hearing in Cobb County Chancery Court.
I thought out into the future.
Child support.
Now, this has to do with the last name, and this judge is thinking about the child's future, right?
Judge Luann Ballou ordered his name be Martin McCullough. It includes both parents' last names, but leaves out Messiah.
The word Messiah is
a title. It's an important title. 7,000 children in 2013, same year this child was born, 7,000 children were either named Messiah, Emmanuel, or Jesus. So, this is one child singled out. You gotta understand, 7,000 children have the same name or deviations of that name.
a title, and it's a title that has only been earned by one person, and that one person is Jesus Christ.
Now again, there is not even a dead body to prove this entity existed. There's only writing. Only writing. You can prove Muhammad existed, but you can't even prove Jesus existed.
Never intended on that naming my son Messiah because it means God. And I didn't think a judge could make...
Now, Messiah does not mean God. In Hebrew, Messiah has a definition that most people do not understand. The Hebrew are God's chosen people. God calls Moses their prophet, not their Messiah. People give Moses the title of Messiah. And this is why. Because Moses took the children of Israel, or God's children, to a land of their own. Remember, they were born in captivity. He took them to a land of their own with laws, statutes, rules to live by. Messiah does not mean God. Messiah does not mean God with us. That is an interpretation. You're enslaved in history over and over again. Each person that leads you to a land to start over, and the land is yours, is a Messiah. Men that fight to get you land to call your own are fallen messiahs. This is very easy. You just go over here and you type in Messiah. Claim it. List of Messiah claimants. This is not hard to find. Simon of Perea, a former slave of great hair who rebelled, a fucking rebel, is called Messiah and was killed by Romans. Jesus of Nazareth, right? He's supposed to be a rebel, right? And it's actually Judas of Nazareth. That's the big fucking trick in your face, right? Leader of a Jewish sect who was crucified by the Romans at the instigation. Now remember, they say they kicked Jews out of Rome at the instigation of Jesus, right? And they say Jesus was killed at the instigation of Jewish leaders. Jews who believed in him to be the Messiah were the first Christians, known as Jewish Christians, Jewish Muslims, Jewish Christians. Masonic Jews believe him to be the real Messiah. Oh, well, too bad there's many Messiahs. Anthrogs, a shepherd turned rebel. Is there anything that keeps coming up? Simon Bar Kokhba founded a short-lived Jewish state. What did I just say? He founded them a state, a home of their own. Before being defeated by Rome again. No, slaves, you cannot leave. Come back and build more for us. Fucking parasites. Moses of Crete persuaded Jews of Crete to walk into the sea. Well, why? He was going to try to get them to cross the water. He probably had no money to buy a boat to cross the water. Right? As Moses had done to return to Israel. As a result, the results were disastrous and he soon disappeared. Well, that's unfortunate, because if they died, he should have died with them. This guy, Ishak ben Yaakov Obadiah Abu Isa al-Isfani, who led a revolt. Rebels lead revolts. David Alroy, born in Kurdistan, agitated against the Caliph. Come on, man. Come on, before being assassinated. So, these people that died in reasonable times, closer to times when Israelites were enslaved, are Messiah claimants. Now, you go to Christian Messiah claimants and it's just a long list of bullshit, right? Right, it's longer than the real Messiahs down here. I've done many videos on the real Messiahs. I think last I left on a 6-part. You'll be surprised that even Vespasian is considered a Messiah to the Jews. Because people say, oh, hidden in the writing of Jesus, it's talking about Vespasian's rule.
Includes both parents' last names, but leaves out Messiah.
The word Messiah is a title, and it's a title that has only been earned by one person, and that one person is Jesus Christ.
Never intended on that naming my son Messiah because it means God. And I didn't think a judge could make me change my baby's name because of her religious beliefs.
You see that little
Time judge
You see a little baby wave? Watch this little baby wave.
Because it means God. And I didn't think a judge could make me change my baby's name because of her religious beliefs.
It's the first time Judge Ballou has ordered a first name change. She says the decision is best for the child, growing up in a county with a large Christian population.
It could put him at odds with a lot of people, and
Like yourself?
at this point, he has had no choice in what his name is.
Everybody believes what they want, so I think I should be able to name my child what I want to name him.
Jaleesa's two older children are named Micah and Mason. She likes the name Messiah and thought it was unique.
What are your thoughts for children who are named Jesus or Jesus?
Well, I thought about that as well, and that's not relevant to this case.
Judge Ballou says
And that's the bigotry, isn't it? That's the fucking bigotry. God damn these niggers wanting a Messiah, wanting land of their own. What's wrong? You don't want us to get land? I mean, fuck, if we get land, you'll just come with this shit again. We grant you, kings of Spain and Portugal, by these present documents with our apostolic, our fucking Paul rights, our Paul doctrine, our apostolic authority, full and free permission to invade, search out, capture, and subjugate the Saracens, the Saricians, and pagans, and any other unbelievers and enemies of Christ. The children of Israel are enemies of Christ, wherever they may be, as well as their kingdoms, their duchies, their dukes and duchesses, their counties, their principalities, whatever gods they're worshiping, if they're not worshiping the Creator, because the Creator is the only thing that could stop this at the time, and other property, and reduce their persons into perpetual servitude. Now here's what you're not going to believe. There's black people that have survived this. They've lived in the forest the whole time. They've never left areas of home. Now the structures that were built were destroyed, but there was people that were righteous and they weren't killed. Their bloodlines are still free to this day. They haven't been separated from their language. For the most part, they know their history. They've just had no growth. And they live in jungle and forest areas, on top of mountains, in mountains, against mountains. Now, oops. I accidentally made it big screen. My computer's slow.
the parents will have to change the name on the birth certificate. But Jaleesa is appealing the judge's decision. And regardless,
Will you still continue to call him Messiah?
Yes, I will.
what's in a name? For a Newport 7-month-old, it's a question with no single answer.
Now, again, look at all the people that name their kid Jesus or Jesus or even Emmanuel. How many people were attacked by that? Well, when we go here, the Tennessee judge who vetoed the Messiah as baby's name is fired. So, an East Tennessee magistrate has been replaced months after ordering a baby's name changed from Messiah to Martin because she believes Messiah is a title held only by Jesus Christ. Luann Ballou was a child support magistrate serving at the pleasure of the Chief Judge of Tennessee's 4th District. Judge Dwayne Stone terminated Ballou on Friday and appointed a new magistrate. Okay, so that's been done. She says, Ballou, an attorney, still faces a March 3rd hearing on accusations that her order to change the Messiah's name violated Tennessee's code of conduct. So we'll just see what happens with her. Judge faces judicial review for ordering baby's Messiah name change. All right, so now we see how that chain of events took place, and when we turn the page, we're going to go to Isaiah chapter 9. For a child is born, for unto us a child is born, unto us a child is given. The government shall be on his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful. Isn't the term Messiah been given to you to understand? Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government, the peace there shall be no end, upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth, even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. The Lord sent a word unto Jacob, and it hath lightened upon Israel. Now, we're going to go back. We're going to go to chapter 8, verse 18. Let's go to 16. Isaiah 8 and 16. Bind up the testimony. If you don't have your Bible out and flipping through this, pausing the video to turn to the page that I'm talking about, for each of these different chapters, you're just wasting your time. 8 and 16. Isaiah 8 and 16. Bind up the testimony. Seal the law among my disciples. And I will wait upon the Lord, that hideth his face from the house of Jacob, and I will look for him. Behold, I and the children whom the Lord hath given me are for signs and for wonders in Israel, for the Lord of hosts, which dwelt in Mount Zion, not on, in Mount Zion. And then they shall say unto you, seek unto them that have familiar spirits, and unto wizards that peep and that mutter. Should not a people seek unto their God? Speak unto them, right? Seek unto them, and they shall say unto you, seek unto them that have familiar spirits, and unto wizards that peep and that mutter. Should not a people seek unto their God, for the living to the dead? It's an interesting statement there. Now, we're at a time that you can go for the living God, the Creator, or you can go for that dead God, Christ. And this is the divide. When we leave out of here, these places crumble. And you're gonna stay? When all this shit starts crumbling, everybody gonna say it's the end of the world. It's not even the end of the world yet. It's the end of the world for them. And they will go mad. They're gonna go insane. Neighbor gonna go to neighbor's house, stealing and raping. You know they got these fucking weirdos now. Men with crazy sex thoughts, injecting themselves with fucking estrogen and hormones, cutting tits into their chest. What happens when you're sitting there wondering about a vendetta? These dudes are running around raping people. Their shit's all off the chart. And you want to fuck around and play with these people while madness is going on. Ain't that what they call it? Ain't that that code word that they use? That you all, that's how you can tell that they're all part of that shit. Madness. They're fucking brainwashing you to stay. What have I been telling you? Pack up, pack up, pack up, pack up, pack up. A lot of you have been saying, hey, I am. Higher. Good for you. Get your gear. Get ready to get out of here. And look, if you can, donate. It doesn't matter if you donate $5. It doesn't matter if you fucking donate $10. I might get some shirts going next month. If you want to wait for the shirts, if you don't like to donate, you like the whole trade-off, you know, buying something, then get the shirts and wear the shirts when you can. And encourage people to read the shirt. Stand with, you know, when you're wearing the shirts that say, you know, Afro-Asians, Hebrews and Canaanites. Don't be ashamed of that. That's what we are. We didn't eradicate them. We commingled with them. Now we are what we are. But we shouldn't forget what we were. And obviously you haven't, because there is a dark versus light war. And the dark people have been winning it for a long time. Hence, if you pick up a rock in the hood and throw it down the street, you're going to hit more dark-skinned people than light. So don't give me that shit. You keep that war going. So, be well aware of what's going on in the news. And I thought I'd show you a couple of clips from this. Come on, computer.
flames just kept getting closer and closer, and next thing you know, we seen trailers on fire, and so we were all getting nervous. And then while we were sitting there and we're not moving, we're not moving in traffic. We're just all on a standstill. The flames, you could start seeing ash starting to hit the side of the bus, like landing in front, and then all of a sudden the grass in between the two highways was catching on fire. And then all of a sudden the flames got so close that they were touching the bus. And so we all got in panic mode, and we got the bus driver. We were like, get off the side of the road. And so all the cars that were in front of us and the big bus that we were on, a diversity bus, we all peeled off to the right down the embankment. Like,
the flames spread swiftly and suddenly, burning everything in their path.
Well, it's a disaster, and I find that it's not fair. They didn't even let us take our things and when we asked. So we lost everything now.
The fire broke out on Sunday, but winds shifted quickly Tuesday afternoon, overwhelming firefighters.
We asked the cops the other day, 2 days ago, to take our things out, and they wouldn't let us. We only have what we have on our backs.
Tens of thousands were ordered to leave, racing to get out amid chaos and confusion.
Very poor as usual. They got music playing on the radios and nobody knows what to do. It's a terrible situation.
This cell phone video shows what it looked like driving through the tunnel of fire. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau offered the federal government's full support.
Canada is a country where we look out for our neighbours, and we are there for each other in difficult times, and certainly in Fort McMurray, the difficult times they're going through right now is something that we're going to unite around across the country.
This is the 43rd eruption the volcano has experienced this year. Columns of ash spewed as high as 4,100 meters into the sky, setting the highest record so far this year. And the Japan Meteorological Agency set the alert level at 3 out of 5, and that means limitations were placed on mountain trips. 47 volcanoes are monitored by the agency all year round, and the eruption frequency for Sakurajima volcano has been relatively low this year.
A mass fish kill in a lake in Haikou City in South China's Hainan province. Images of workers collecting the dead fish were posted on social media. According to local newspaper reports, workers have already cleaned about 35 tons of fish from the lake. Authorities are urging people to stay away They're also examining samples to try to determine the cause.
We've been looking into the concerns surrounding that large fault or crack that's in the ground that recently opened up near and behind that shopping center.
Our Lauren Hanley is at the scene there at the Logan Town Center in Blair County. So Lauren, what's the latest?
Well, Carolyn, if you take a look at the large crack in the ground behind me, you can see that a series of power lines actually runs along the base of the mountain here. So depending on how the ground shifts, we could have an even bigger problem. We spoke with a Logan Township police officer who was keeping an eye on the area early this afternoon. He actually told us to move away from the power lines in case the ground shifts and knocks them down. He told us these power lines have anywhere from 40,000 to 90,000 volts running through them. If they come down, the whole area will be electrified. Now that means all of the stores that sit back along the mountain here will lose power and will be in a charged area. Anyone standing in that area would be in danger. But we're not sure how quickly the ground is moving here. The officer told us he heard the crack grows further apart by 2 inches every day. Now, the surveyor from the EADS group we spoke with says it's moving, but very gradually. He didn't say there was any immediate danger or that part of Brush Mountain would break off and come crashing down. If anything, it would keep slowly sliding apart. Now, we can't seem to get a straight answer on what exactly will happen with this area. We've heard a couple of things. One, they might dig out part of the mountain, but then we've also heard they might try to anchor it, as you've seen in areas along 99. But in the meantime, we'll see what happens with this area, if there are any plans, and we'll bring you the latest. Reporting live in Logan Township, Lauren Hanley, WTAJ News.
Move over Tampa Bay. There is a new lightning capital of the world.
That's right, but now new research has pinpointed the exact location that sees the most strikes, and it's right here in Southwest Florida. 4 New Corner's Tony Sadico has a look.
The flash of lightning, the sound of thunder, sights and sounds common to the region. And for those who say Southwest Florida gets a lot of stormy weather, now the research can back it up. Using new satellite technology, scientists at the University of Alabama and NASA are now able to better pinpoint the exact location to see who gets the most lightning. Their study revealed that the lightning capital of the world is now in Venezuela, a Lake Maracaibo, taking the crown from Africa's Congo Basin. The newest rankings reveal that the lightning hotspot of the United States is no longer in Central Florida, but in the Everglades, near Orange Tree, about 30 miles southeast of Fort Myers. And with our summer, it's also the lightning capital of the country. Tony Sadiku, Fox 4, in your corner.
Now, even though we are still a long ways away from being the lightning capital of the world, lightning deaths do tend to occur more in Florida than any other state. During June, July, and August, when most people are outside having fun, that's when it happens most often. And that's why, of course, it's so important to practice lightning safety, especially as we approach those summer months. Remember, that's when thunder roars.
Single lightning strike causes heartache in Ypsilanti. The severe weather causing major damage to an apartment building and leaving several families without a home. 7 Action News reporter Aaron Baskerville is getting a first-hand look at this damage, and he joins us now live with the latest. Aaron.
Glenda and Heather, you said it. A lot of emotion out here tonight after lightning struck this apartment building behind me on Holmes in Ypsilanti. Just take a look around. You can see on the ground behind me debris left over from when firefighters were out here this afternoon doing their job. Up above, you can look at the windows. They're all boarded up for now. This apartment building, severe damage. And the roof, you can see, it's all charred up. The insulation was coming out of the roof earlier today. The families I talked to tonight are still wondering what to do next.
Thankful for the breath that we are taking right here, right now. You know, that's what's keeping us going. So I'm fighting back the tears. I'm just fighting back the tears.
Words are hard to come by, tears hard to hold back for families at Oak Ridge Apartments in Ypsilanti. Mother Nature revealing her anger once again.
All of this we can hopefully get back, but it's a lot of damage.
Lightning struck a transformer and then apartments here, leading to a fire. The damage severe for the Rogans, married, hardworking students with no renter's insurance.
We are truly devastated, but I'm just so thankful that our family is fine and here and still alive.
Over in the next building, the tears are equally as hard to control, the ceiling all ripped up, and nowhere to call home for now.
We worked real hard to get here. And go through like this, it's hard, man.
What are you thinking about right now? Because obviously, you're tearing up. It's emotional for you.
It's pretty emotional. I'm just thinking about all the work that she's got to do to get us back where we need to be. It's just rough, man.
The Red Cross was called in to help some of these families. In Ypsilanti, Aaron Baskerville, 7 Action News.
Well, when we think of earthquakes in the U.S., we might think of Los Angeles, but the Southeast is the last place in the country that comes to our mind. Now, our location on the interior of the North American plate places this region far away from any fault or plate boundaries where seismic activity generally occurs.
But when we think about who creates earthquakes, who creates lightning, who creates thunder? When you sneeze, you don't say Jesus bless you, you say God bless you. Not the God of the world, the Creator God, the Lord of hosts. Now, when you think East Coast, there's no plates over there. Why is there earthquakes? How could be, there's no fault line there. But this God that we've been ignoring has been laying down what's called retribution. And we're constantly ignoring it. And I'll just say this, you can't stop the events of Pompeii.
However, the area has seen a considerable increase of events. Just in August of 2011, a 5.8 earthquake northwest of Richmond, Virginia, struck the capital region with then a series of aftershocks. Now, the tremor not only woke up many residents in Northern Virginia and Washington, D.C., but directly affected the infrastructure of the Washington Monument, the National Cathedral, and many other famous landmarks of the nation's capital. But it doesn't end there. A report recently released by scientists with the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, have likely found the cause for these rare earthquakes, and it appears that we should be getting ready for more. So to analyze all of this, I'm joined now by Burke Burial, seismologist at UNC Chapel Hill and the lead author of this new study. Thank you so much for joining me, Burke. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, can you please tell us about the destruction of the 13 colonies by the Foundation first?
Thank you.
So considering this region's not typically active, we're not prepared, and we don't have the infrastructure for a place that has earthquakes. Should we be concerned in the Southwest?
Yes, you should bend over and kiss your own ass goodbye.
Or Southeast, excuse me, about more earthquakes in the near future.
So the study we carried out basically looks at the deeper structure of the Earth and tries to link this structure of the Earth, the plate, to the earthquakes and why these earthquakes might be occurring in this region, and merely propose mechanisms about why earthquakes are more frequent in some regions of Southeast than the others. Mm-hmm. So it is really hard for me to say anything about where these earthquakes will occur in the future, or how they will occur, or how frequently they will occur. But based on our findings, we see that
it's impossible for us to tell God's retribution on you.
Detaching from the bottom and sinking deeper into earth, and this basically
it's detaching from the bottom. Now, what could possibly have broken the plate to make it detach from the bottom?
Weakens the plate at certain points, and this leads to some seismicity or earthquake activity in those regions, and Mineral Virginia is one of them.
Mm-hmm. Right, your study was speaking about the North American plate actually peeling off. What exactly does that mean, and can we do anything to stop that?
So that means...
did you see that motherfucker laugh first? Well, can we do anything to stop that?
Right, your study was speaking about the North American plate actually peeling off. What exactly does that mean, and can we do anything to stop that?
Fuck no!
So that means that certain part of the plate that is located tends to actually hundreds of miles below the surface is coming off, and that does not influence us immediately. Not at the
that earthquake that shook the capital, right? It does not influence us because he's in North Carolina, right? Yeah,
location. But it has some long-term effects, and by long-term I'm talking about geological time scales, and this means millions of years.
Break me off something.
This has been going on for some time, 50 million years actually, our study shows, and we propose a mechanism for what we are seeing in our tomographic images, and this mechanism basically shows that some part of the plate at the bottom of the plate, you might consider it as the soles of your shoes, coming off or delaminating and coming or sinking down into the mantle by the gravity pull forces, and this effectively thins out the plate at certain locations and effectively reduces the strength of the plate.
Okay, so you can see the rugs being pulled out from underneath the 13 colonies, right?
Which we believe might be giving way to earthquakes, and earthquake activity in the regions and stress imbalances.
Now, is there a difference between earthquakes that we find in the west or on the west coast than the ones that we are seeing on the east coast?
Yes. First of all, we are still trying to understand, and many groups across the region is trying to understand why earthquakes are occurring in this region. However, in the western coast, that's a solid boundary zone. So San Andreas Fault is a very well defined fault zone, very well mapped, and that will be considered different than the source of the earthquakes, the faults that are located in the southeast United States.
The city of Campo recorded temperatures of 41 degrees Celsius on
Okay, I'm going to stop there because, I think the important part's been reached. It's coming out from underneath our feet. I live in Ohio. Soon, we ain't going to live that far from the coast. I mean, and then what's going to happen to Ohio? And then what's going to happen to Indiana and Michigan? So, domino effect. Based on what? Based on sin. Think I'm bullshitting? Read this book yourself. Whoa. The first covenant's already been made, right? So this is when the second covenant comes. When we start to ask ourselves, why can't we go make a covenant with the Lord? And then we start to remove ourselves, right? Come, let us join ourselves to the Lord in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. But what about Jesus, everybody? What about Jesus? What does it say? My people have been lost sheep, thinking that Jesus is the way, the only way. Their shepherds, preach Jesus, they have caused them to go to Jesus. They have turned them away from God on the mountains, the churches. They have gone from mountain to mountain. They've gone church to church, hillside to hillside, town to town. Like the Catholic and Christian missionaries that came over here prior to kill their fucking ancestors and then enslave the ones that were docile. Okay, I'll do it. Have gone from mountain to hill They have forgotten their resting place. We forgot what Zion is. There's a 3 at resting place. What does it say? 6. Place to lie down in. Place to die in. Right? Tomb for my father. My father's father. Verse 7. All that they have, all that found them have devoured them. Every nation that found us just ate us a fucking alive. All our resources are tapped. Now, half of them don't want to fucking stay here because there's nothing for them to chew on anymore. They came like locusts, right? All that found them, each European nation, all that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, we offend not because they have sinned against the Lord. Right? Didn't we just cover this? The Lord said to do this to you. What did I say? My rebuttal to that is when themselves kings over Israel. And it states in chapter 2 it says, Israel shall cry unto me. So it is Israel. Israel has cast off the thing that is good. And that's the Most High, the Creator. Alright, so 8 and 4 it says Shalom. See, we always go Shalom or Shalom, however you pronounce this. You just get a reference Bible, and it has it there. It says Menahem, and these are kings. These are men that made themselves kings. They weren't told to be kings. No prophet went to them and said, the Lord said, you shall be king of Israel. These men made themselves kings. This is a great sin. And Pekah. Now, I've been sitting there thinking, who in the hell is Pekah? And it's been right in front of me the whole time. Pekah, the king of Ephraim, the house of Israel, the king of Israel, made himself king. And because he was not chosen, that's why he was rotten in the heart to make deals with Samaria. And this is why the Most High had the Assyrians come in and take us. Now, as I've shown you, Emmanuel is the sign. It is not until we get to the writings of Solomon that are not in the Bible. What is it? The Testament of Solomon, where he claims he's questioning the demons. Do we get the name Emmanuel? Now in Isaiah here it says Emmanuel. Now, what is the establishment? Now, 1 second. When we go to, if ye will not believe, surely you will not be established. There is a 7 there. So that is Isaiah chapter 7 verse 9. There is a precept and a 7. So it says Chronicles chapter 2 20 and 20. Or, this is the definition, or do ye not believe? It is because ye are not stable. Okay, so we go to 2 Chronicles, and let's see what it says in 2 Chronicles. 20 and 20. We were told by the Lord to do this to you. Throughout history, you've made us pay. So when it's time, you shall pay. Now I'm going to read this again. Jeremiah 50 and 7. All that found them have devoured them. And their adversary said, we offend not, we offend the Lord not. We offend not because they have sinned against the Lord, the habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. So this is what the Lord says to you. Verse 8, remove out of the midst of Babylon. That doesn't mean your fucking mind. That means your ass. If I let off a fire extinguisher down here, I'm in the fucking midst of it. I have to leave to breathe freely. Every day there's a dew that comes up, right? Fog in areas. To get out of that dew, you have to go indoors, you have to remove yourself out of the midst of it, or you have to leave that area. If there's a fog, how do you get away from a fog? Go indoors or leave the area. Indoors, you've got TV, radio, everything advertising to you. Computer, you've got your loved one telling you Jesus is the light, the way. What the hell is wrong with you? Because they won't read the stuff you will. They won't look at the stuff you will. You have to get out of this. Remove out of the midst of Babylon and go forth. That means move your fucking feet. Everybody that tells you that means mentally, they don't even understand what, like the string of words. Move forth. What? How can you let anybody tell you the small phrase move forth means mentally? We knew where Zion was coming out of Babylon. How can people say this is first Babylon? Even when those dumbasses say first Babylon, they just admitted that there's another Babylon. See, look, the Tower of Babylonia. Then the Amorites restart Babylon. Now we're in the daughter. Hello, how's everybody doing? So, we last left off discussing Emmanuel, the Son. Now, real quick, Isaiah chapter 7 and seven and 7. Thus saith the Lord God, it shall not stand, neither shall it come to pass. For the head of Syria is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is Rezin. And within 65 years shall Ephraim be broken, that it be not a people. And the head of Ephraim is Samaria, and the head of Samaria is Ramallah's son, that's Pekah. If ye will not believe, surely ye shall not be established. And I told you, I'm going to explain to you what it means, the establishment, right? Now, each time Pekah is brought up, he's brought up as Ramallah's son. He's very rarely brought up as Pekah himself, as if his father is more respectable than he is. So, let us find the truth. I just used some clips that he showed in his last video. Let us find the truth showed us in Hosea chapter 8 and 4. They have set up kings, but not by me. They have made princes, and I knew it not. Of their silver and their gold have they made them idols, that they may be cut off. Who did this? Who made... I passed it. So, Chronicles 20:20. And they rose early in the morning and went forth into the wilderness of Tekoa. And they went forth Jehoshaphat stood and said, Hear me, O Judah, and the inhabitants of the Jerusalem, believe in the Lord your God, so shall ye be established. Believe in his prophets, so shall ye prosper. You understand that? If you are not prospering from the Lord's word, then you are unstable. And I told you, you can't make money off this. You have to spiritually prosper. So I'm going to show you what this establishment is. Now he said, oh man. Oh, Jeremiah. No. He said, in Jeremiah 50, it states, in those days, 50 and 4, in those days and in that time the Lord, saith the Lord, the children of Israel shall come, they and their children of Judah together, going and weeping, they shall go and seek the Lord their God. They shall ask the way to Zion. How is it in the past they knew where Zion was, and today we don't know where Zion is? Is this statement a past, present, or future? We are, as a people, unstable. So this is us saying, we need stability. We need a nation. Let us find Zion, what has been promised to us. So this isn't in the past, because again, in the past they knew where Zion was. Now, today we know where Zion Park is, right? So, they shall ask the way, so this is Jeremiah 50 and 5. They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, Come, let us join ourselves unto the Lord in a perpetual covenant.